today's feature here on the Danielson Radio Show. We have on the line now, we have Michael van Gestel, Head of Documents at Onfido. Just want to get you on, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danny. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And we have our talking point today. In association with Interpol, new research found that the risk of identity fraud has increased significantly, with attacks occurring more often since the start of the pandemic. So we're going to kind of get you on the show to kind of like tell our listener more. Onfido is a global identity standard for the worldwide internet verification provider. But please, can you tell me and the listener the mission of the company?
Mission of the company is online identity verification. To keep it on a high level, not too much detail.
Yeah.
When you do business online, opening bank accounts, rent a car, food delivery, etc., and they ask you to upload an image of your identity document or make a photo. The software behind that to authenticate that identity document and to make sure that you are really the legal holder of that identity document, we map that together. And that's a tiny piece of the whole online process.
Yeah, right. And we have a new report out, just published this very kind of now, really, on identity fraud report for the year 2020, and we've got a few findings here. I'll tell you what, I'll read them out for you. Its findings have found that unsophisticated fraud has grown 40%. That's nearly half, actually, year on year to 2019. Then almost 70% in 2020. Could you tell our listener more about that jump? That leap.
Yeah, that's an interesting fact from our findings. It's indeed a 41% increase in cases around identity theft and identity fraud. What we see is there are a lot more unsophisticated attacks. And we saw the spike starting in April this year, and that's exactly the same time when most of the lockdowns worldwide started. People are sitting at home. Trying to gain some extra money and trying to attack the systems online. And because the behavior of a lot of people is changing, they can't go outside to the store anymore, but they do it online. Fraudsters are finding new ways to try to attack and try to gain some extra money.
Quite. And I did emphasise the word unsophisticated, just unsophisticated. So we've gone from sophisticated to unsophisticated now. Are we seeing a growing number of wannabe fraudsters and the professional fraudsters being more resilient than ever?
It's now we see a rise in the let's call it the wannabe fraudsters. It's a nice it's a nice name for them. We call it the one-time fraudsters.
Yeah.
They just try to attack business A, and if they don't succeed, they go to business B. And there is a rise in the number of fraudsters itself. What we see when we look at sophisticated fraud, so it's more difficult to detect. It's more the criminal organizations. The fraud is getting more sophisticated. So the sophisticated fraud is not rising, but the type of fraud, the sophistication of the fraud is getting better.
Yeah, and although fraud can happen at any given time of the day of the week, research on this survey has found that that's kind of changing, and the professional fraudsters are working around the clock day and night. That's quite concerning.
Yeah, it's concerning, but it's just like you and me. What we saw in the findings from the report of last year, they saw their work as a 9-to-5 job. We could see that in the statistics, and that's global statistics from Onfido. What we saw this year is they work 7 days a week, 24/7. It's just like you and me working from home. So you start your day early and you end your day late. And in the meantime, you do something else.
Right.
So that's what we do with fraudsters as well.
And have fraudsters' habits and suspicious behaviour changed over the years and decades? Or is it always a case of that they are out to get all that they can?
Yeah, they're always out to get what they can and to get a maximum of what they can. As long as there's money in the game, they are trying it, and it's a never-ending game. It will never stop, and I always say we will never win. It's the cat and mouse game. But in the overall, it's yeah. Are they getting better? Is it more sophisticated? Are they putting more time in it? I think it's due to the fact that the behavior of people is changing.
Mm.
Due to that fact, it's for us, we need to find new ways to detect it. If you look at somebody's purchasing record, what they buy online with a credit card, it's changing as well.
Yeah.
So what we thought in the beginning, that's suspicious for fraud, can be now normal for a person.
Yeah.
So we don't want to identify a legitimate user as a fraudster.
Yeah.
So
Okay, and Onfido partners with Interpol. What kind of work do they do together in combating this worldwide problem?
no, we started this relationship last year. Myself, I'm a trainer for Interpol for a longer time, and I come from a physical background where you check a document in a physical environment, like border control.
Yeah.
So you have the actual document in your hand. At Onfido, we are experts in checking that same identity document with a white light image on your screen. So you're just staring at your screen.
Yeah.
And now we combine forces because they have a lot of knowledge about that physical document. We have a lot of knowledge in that online environment. The world is shifting towards online, and that's exactly the reason why we partnered. So we provide combined training sessions to governments worldwide now, where we try to explain why they need to focus in that online environment, why that is so important.
And over the years, the authentication measures have been more robust. I suppose you have passwords, the old passwords, fingerprints, retina scans, and we're going to talk slightly about face recognition as well.
Yeah.
How has fingerprints ID and biometrics played a part in kind of tightening the net on these fraudsters?
Yeah. As you mentioned, retina scans. That's more in physical, because you need a scanner. You need to put your eye or your face in front of a scanner. Same like fingerprint. We use the biometrics of the face. So you send in your identity document, and there's the photo of you on that document, and you make a selfie or a liveness video, and then the machine learning behind it is mapping that together.
Okay.
We see a change in that, where firstly we saw 2D masks, for example. Now they shifted to 3D masks. We even had the first attack of deepfake this year. It's where I can let you talk. That's simply explained.
Sure. And what about the growing use of these masks, 2D into 3D? In regards to selfie and video authentication services products, are these fraudsters are they kind of incorporating other people's faces onto these masks?
Yeah. Then they have. I use your passport.
Yeah.
Now we look a little bit like each other. We are both bald, so that's a good one. No, but then they have a mask, and I create a mask, or I order a mask online. It's quite easy with your face. When I just use a static selfie, just with my phone, and I make a selfie, and I'm not moving, it's quite difficult to detect because all your facial features are there as well.
Yeah.
As soon as I implement liveness, and I need to blink with my eyes, or I need to move, or I need to talk to my phone, that makes it more complicated also to do that with masks.
Yeah.
It's easy to detect for us.
And with technology getting so advanced now, can you kind of point the finger at technology getting more advanced that this is happening? In a sense that, with these masks, is it better to use like an old device where this can't happen?
It's the whole world is shifting. Everything is going more towards tech, and I always say you have a lot of professional amateurs that are trying to fool systems, just like the hackers. And as soon as they manage, it's for them. It's not even about the money, but they share the code. And as soon as the code is within the broader audience, for us it's a higher risk.
And just wrapping up now, what advice could you give to our listeners just to kind of tighten up all your security on all your devices and personal information?
Be aware of what you share. Be conscious, and I talked earlier about phishing emails, for example. sharing your identity documents on social media. I have my new driver license, or this is my new credit card. And then I even had a case that you see, what's the code on your back of the card? And people are just providing it on social media.
Yeah.
So think twice before you share any of your personal details.
Because sometimes organisations like to see your passport, and that is quite risky, sending over a passport on an email.
Over an email, it's risky, yes. In the onboarding processes of the trustworthy companies, and we use an SDK, so we capture the control of the identity document, and you will be redirected to an app, or on a website itself, but never by email.
Okay.
Don't share your identity document by email.
Yeah, good advice there. So the organisation who require your passport or personal document use their trusted website or application inside there.
Yeah, inside there. Yeah. And don't use other channels and randomly upload your identity document somewhere.
And finally, what measures can people take when doing online shopping this year, or even just drawing money out of the ATM cash point?
Now, with the online shopping, there's a new type of fraud around it. It's the gift card fraud, how they call it. And then they ask you to buy gift cards and send the codes of the gift cards by phone. That's a nice example of doing that.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Then you're open. That's a big risk. While shopping online, again, be conscious of what website are you on. Is it a trusted website? You can see the icon in the top bar. Double check the URL of the website where you're on, that you don't see strange dashes or hashes or numbers, and check the email addresses you're communicating with.
Great advice there. So Michael van Gestel, I just want to say thank you for taking time out to kind of explain more about identity fraud and how we can kind of combat it in a way. Keep it down, fraud.
Keep it down.
Yeah.
That's the best one. Yeah.
Well, have a great day, and it's lovely speaking to you today on the show.
Thank you, Danny. Have a great day.
And yourself.